Smitty, what are you doing?
I'm studying for this podcast I've got with Bry The Biker. I don't know anything at all about pods. I haven't had a cat since I was in my early 20s. I'm freaking out, man.
No, I don't think you understand. A podcast is where you two talk to each other and it's going to be like a video.
I understand that, but I just got done telling you I don't know anything at all about pods.
Oh, God. Good luck, Bry. I'm going to roll that intro.
So today I have the pleasure of sitting down with Big Smitty Riding. It was nice enough for him and his wife to do my intro. I know there's a lot of people that are probably confused watching this video going, what just happened?
That's not Bry. That's not Bry.
I mean,
where'd Bry go?
Could you look like him? I need a bigger mustache. Look like that. We'll try.
If I could have a beard, I would, but I can't at the plant, I can just, and I've grown it so long now, I'm at the point when my bosses walk by and they're kind of like, you're supposed to have it. It's supposed to be like the Tom Selleck, but I grow it out because I'm like, I'm fighting the rules, I take it a little lower, but yeah. Or I would have a beard, man.
So Chris or Smitty, go ahead and tell us about yourself. Just do a quick intro for those of you that don't follow you.
My name is Smitty. My YouTube channel is Big Smitty Riding. I'm also on Instagram at the big_Smitty_riding. I've had my channel since July of 2020. I was one of those people who said, I'm going to start a channel and I'll be monetized in a month because I'm funny and people are going to love me and whatever. But I started my channel. It's been, oh my God, we're in April. So since July of 2020,
okay.
Enjoy doing it. I've just started doing it for fun and that's still what I'm doing it for. I just enjoy doing, love riding motorcycles. Married with 4 kids. They're all awesome. My wife's awesome. People who know something about my channel, my wife's involved in a lot of my intros. Her and my son are my lab rats, I call them. They're the only two willing to be subjected to my particular brand of humor. But, so that's...
Did your son recover from his beating?
He did. He's been the subject of several bad intros, but he thinks it's funny. And he, like I said, I think he'll be the one of all my kids that really wants to ride. So, I try to get him involved to kind of get him excited. So
that's awesome. So when did you start riding?
So I've been riding close to 20 years.
Damn.
I'm 44, about to be 45. So my little brother started riding before me. Honestly, I think he got his first bike when he was 18, 19. He got a Buell and his big brother, being so amazing, laid it down the street because I'm a jerk. And luckily it was low speed. I had ridden as a kid like dirt bikes and when I had a cousin had a moped and so imagine I've always been a big wide kid. I played nose guard, in junior high and high school. And so my cousin had a moped. So that's kind of what I learned to ride on was a moped. And my brother had this Buell, the one with the 1200, I can't remember the name. And I went to make a left-hand turn and just didn't have enough speed and literally just laid it on its side. And he came running down the street, him and my dad. And I was like, dude, I'm sorry. It didn't do a lot of damage, but every time he gets on one of my bikes to ride now, he looks at me and he just kind of goes, just wait till I get to the end of the street. Like he likes to make me think that he's willing to dump my bike. But so, man. So I started riding, I'd say when I was 24, 20, so 19, 20 years,
Okay. What did you start out with?
I started out on a Honda CB750. I had a buddy of mine up in Missouri that we did a lot of little work to it and I rode that bike. And then I had like a little lull where I didn't ride for a couple of years. We, right around the time my daughter was born, going between jobs and I had sold that, I'd given away or sold that CB750 and I had a V-Star 1100 that I rode around like back and forth to work. And then I rode my buddy's Fatboy for quite a while he was injured. And then I got a Down the Street Bob in 09. I rode that for about 2 or 3 years, or about 2 years. And I had a 2011 Street Glide and the hot white denim so that I would be able to distinguish it in the crowd because like at that time, the Street Glide was like a Me Too bike, oh, you got a Me Too. I got a Street Glide, Me Too, So everybody had a black Street Glide.
It's still not?
I don't want to say that because some Harley person, you're a Harley guy. I'm trying to be cool, man. I'm trying to be cool.
I'm only a Harley guy for the last 2 years. I just got the hat.
It's all good. Yeah. You did that on purpose. You could have worn a Honda hat today, Bry. I'm just saying, buddy,
All I didn't have one. That's why you buy a Harley for the merch.
I should have sent you a Honda hat. Yeah, they don't. There's no merch. Exactly. Like there's one Honda hat and it won't fit my head. But no. Like I said, and then I went to Victory. I was on a Victory cross country, a 14 Victory cross country that I loved to death. If they were still making Victory, I'd probably still be riding that. I'm one of those people who got pissed at Polaris and was all angry and said, "Hey, I'm done with you," you know. And it's my fault. You probably can't see. Yeah, that's a Victory tattoo right there. Yeah, I'm one of those guys. It's hard to see from here. I was telling Salty from Salty and Sprinkles a story last Saturday. So like Victory closed on like, I think it was Monday, the 10th of January that year of 2017. On a Friday night, because my birthday's right in January about that time, I went and got this tattooed up. Okay. I finished it like Saturday morning. And then Monday, they closed down Victory, right? And I'm at work and I'm busy and my phone starts, it's going off. And I look and all my Harley buddies are going, "Hey, have you seen the news? Hey, you watching the news? Hey, do you hear what's going on?" I'm like, "I don't know." And all of a sudden I get all these links. Victory's closed down. I'm looking at my arm going, "You're such an idiot," you know?
That's why I'm not getting a Harley tattoo. Because when
I'm telling you now, my wife has said, "Don't you dare get a Honda tattoo. They'll shut down making gold wings. There'll be no more Honda and the world's gonna be pissed at you." She's made the joke though. Now, if you want to get a Kardashian tattoo, I'm okay with that. Just don't do any of the others, you know? So.
Okay. So we get you a COVID tattoo or something and we can just take
give me a COVID tattoo. It's done. That's
one piece, whatever, you know.
I'm just saying hey, you know what? I'll take one for the team. So, you know.
So how did you get, I mean, your YouTube channel is extremely unique, and talk to me about your intros, because like the intro for this, they're just so funny and you're just a genuine person. I think it's great.
Well, I mean, when you've talked to me, we talked before we did this. Mm-hmm. I think some people watch my videos and think, "Man, he probably doesn't act that way in real life." No, I'm this way. This is me. I don't come on because the camera's on. My wife has told people I work with that watch the videos go, "Dude, it's just like having a conversation with you in the control room," you know? I'm on and I'm loud and I'm obnoxious all the time. So that's me. But the intro thing, okay, so seriously, just yesterday, I realized there's like 50 motovloggers in Texas that I didn't know about. I knew of like 4 or 5 of them. Okay. So when I first started, I was like, there's a lot of motovloggers. And of course, I'm one of those guys that got started because I watched Shadetree and I thought he was hilarious and I liked him and I liked Flip and Blockhead's content was just, you know, his stuff is like a movie, you know, and then Fortnite up in Canada is like, dude, his stuff is like, it was. So I was like, you know, man, I want to do my own motovlog. I got a free GoPro Hero 8.
Nice.
My mother-in-law got a GoPro Hero 8 as a gift, a Christmas gift from her job as like a door prize. And my wife said, "If you'll just wait, it's coming your way." And I said, "What do you mean?" She's like, "She won't know how to use this. She doesn't even know how to sell it on eBay. It's going to be yours." And about the end of May, my mother-in-law said, "Just take this thing. I don't need it." And I'm like, "Well, cool." So then I started researching, you know, got the media mod and stuff. And like my very first video, I put it on my helmet. I didn't know you needed a media mod. I just had like little attachments and I rode with the wind in it. And I just went on the little editing software from GoPro and it had music and it was just like a quick testing out the GoPro. And I think the next one I just did like a review of my bike. Dude, they were so boring. I was like, this is like really boring. So I just kind of got the idea, you know, I think I'm going to do something different. I want to do something that makes me laugh because honestly, the fact that you and I are talking and people watching me is absolutely still amazing to me. So,
well, and I think that that's the cool part about YouTube, right? Is everybody has their 15 minutes, not necessarily of fame, but you have that, you have an audience, right? And I think the engagement of that, because like you said, there's so many people that are coming up from Texas.
And man, you know, there's some super talented guys in Texas. That I, like I said, it's been within the last 2 months. I've been watching Salty and Sprinkles for about 2 months. And he introduced, he like commented on one of my videos and I was like, "Who's this guy?" I was like, "What?" And I went, "Whoa, man, him and his wife both ride. They're pretty good." And then he introduced me to Setzerpendence, who, okay, he blows me away because like, you know, my editing is super basic, but his, man, he's got like drone footage and his everything is so well put together. I'm like, how does this guy not have, 150,000 subs? This stuff is just that good. So, but on the intro front, man, I wanted to do something that made me and my wife and like my buddies laugh. So I said, I'm going to do something to make me laugh. So I think one of the first ones I did was just like my wife making a joke about me. And then I did one of the ones where I always use my wife to make me look like an idiot. And I'll get these messages going, man, is your wife's kind of mean. I'm like, no, dude, my wife is literally reading what I've written down on a whiteboard for her to say because she won't remember it. So it's on a whiteboard and she'll have the camera and she'll be going, hey, Smitty, are you really, and she'll be saying something ridiculously mean to me, but it's came from me, so my wife is nice. I want everybody to understand my wife's nice. So
you're going to say, this is on footage. I get it.
She's going to see this, Brian.
We'll edit that part out. She won't know.
She's going to see this, dude.
You did wish me good luck, which I thought was nice.
Well, yeah. Nicer than she is to me. Anyway, forget it. We're not going to do it.
So you're riding a Valkyrie?
I am a 2014 Honda Valkyrie, which is it's another one of those Valkyrie. Everybody says it.
Vulcan. Yeah, whatever.
If I say Valkyrie, it makes me sound I rode a 2014 Honda Valkyrie. It makes me sound so much more refined than I am. That's, I had my Victory and I sold it to a guy locally here in Houston. And man, I had found one at a dealership out in Katy and it was in the crate. The guy was like, dude, I got a blue one in the crate. I said, I want the blue. I'll wire you money right now to hold it. He said, man, you don't have to do that. So I gave him a credit card number just in case, because he had another guy coming in to look. And when I got there, they were uncrating it. And I was like, cool. And he said, it's got a 3-year warranty. It's never been, because at the same time, what happened with those things, well, I think you and I might have talked about this earlier, but so the Valkyries came out and they were like 17.5. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, then they came out with the F6B that was like $1,500 plus with stereo and bags. So they shot themselves in the foot.
I wanted that bike so bad.
Man, and the thing is, so I always laugh. I tell my buddies, I kind of went back to my roots. I started out riding Japanese cruisers when I was younger, and then moved into Harleys and V-twins, which I still love V-twins. I'm one of those never say never. I used to always say, I'll never ride a Harley. Then I said, I'll never ride anything else. And then I'll never ride. I quit saying that because I changed my mind all the time. But so anyway, with the Valkyrie, they gave me a great deal. I had the cash from my other bike, put it down and really, I think 3 days later, after they finished putting the fog light kit on it and stuff, they called me and I got off work and they stayed open. I rode out there and got it and rode it home, and it's been an adventure ever since. So,
that's really sweet. That's a 6-cylinder. That's the same engine as a goldwing?
Yeah, it's the same engine. So they don't make a lot of parts for that bike, but the engine was what I wanted, because I basically got a faster version of a goldwing. Goldwings are fast enough, but I got this fast version of a goldwing. So I knew they'd have motor parts for it. That wasn't worried about. Finding tires is kind of a bitch because it's weird. It's odds. It's 19 in the front and 17 in the rear. They couldn't do anything normal on this bike. But, beyond that, as far as the handling and the speed, I didn't expect it to be as fast as it is. And there's been a lot of people I've shocked on that bike that are like, well, it's a big fat guy riding that bike and it's fast. So,
Yeah.
But
that's shaft driven?
It is shaft driven, flat 6-cylinder, 1,832 cc's. I like it. I've done things other people wouldn't do. I put the windshield on that it wasn't tall enough, so I put one of those cheap Chinese windshields on the top to kind of give me a little bit more of the buffeting. And I did the Corbin seat, which was awesome. It was expensive but worth it, man. I can ride all day on that seat. I've got a buddy who's fabbing me a custom sissy bar that I'm excited about, that I actually just dropped that off today and took a ride. We're going to do something that people are going to go, why would you put that on a Honda? And because you wouldn't, that's why. So,
that seems logical to me.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm one of those guys.
And I know you really liked your seat, and they're custom made, are they not?
They are. So that was a cool process because, man, you call them. Yeah, I put the order in online, and I didn't expect to hear anything back from them. And and that was like a Friday. Well, on Monday, I'm off. I'm on long change, and my phone rings, and I go, it's just something Corbin. It says Corbin USA. Like, I can't remember where they're at in California, Hollister or something. And I was like, hello, and the guy's like, hey, is this Smitty? Yeah. And he goes, I can't remember the guy's name now. And he said, hey, man, I want to talk to you about your seat. And he literally asked me, he said, hey, how tall are you? He said, do you have any back problems? How much do you weigh? And I was like, well, I'm a big guy. And man, we got to talking. He goes, okay, we've got a guy in the shop about your same size. He said, I just want to make sure that we get this seat right for you. And I was going, okay. So, and then when I got the seat, man, a lot of people, it's expensive. It was almost $1,000 for the seat and backrest, just the rider backrest, not passenger backrest. I had the stock Honda job. But man, when I say it was worth it, I would do it again. If I sold this bike and left that seat on the bike and bought another Honda, I would have Corbin make me another seat. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one thing that I've noticed with the Harley is that, well, I mean, there's no shortage of parts, but to really get it to fit you right. Like, it's amazing when I look at videos or I look at pictures of when that bike rolled out stock when I bought it. Yeah. And my arms are all out straight and I'm hunched over.
I love your handlebars.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
I had a set of Tarzans, those Tarzan's apes from Vic Baggers on my Victory. Mm-hmm. And they had that point to them. And man, bars like that just have that cool look. What bars is that on your bike, by the way?
They're fat bag rinks.
Dude, they look great, man.
Thank you. They're 2-piece. Actually, was at a stoplight the one day, and this guy starts yelling out his window. He's like, "What size bars are those? Who makes them?" I'm like, "People with care in New Jersey." Like,
that's pretty funny.
I always joke with people that the points make it less old man.
Yeah. I mean, hey, man. All my buddies laughed. I went from baggers to back to a cruiser, and they're like, "You're going to be miserable, man. You're gonna." I had people tell me I was going to be riding this bike in 6 months. And I was like, well, that's what I started riding on. And I made it more comfortable. I haven't put bags on, but I put a big old tail bag on it. And I've got a backrest because, I'm too old to be leaning back and trying to keep myself up. I did all the things to make it comfortable, put highway pegs on it. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, like I said, I never say never anymore, but I'm very happy. It would take a lot for me to get rid of this bike.
And I think that's the thing that a lot of riders don't realize is that the bike's only a suggestion. It's made for that, 5'7", 5'8" foot guy that, is 100 pounds or something. They never fit you.
I'm 5'10", and I got all the way up to 370, and I'm down to I weighed 304 last week, so I've lost 66 pounds. Trying to get down to 230, but that's a long way to go. But man, the bike.
You're gonna have to rebrand your channel then. You're gonna
it'll still be Big Smitty Riding. That's what I tell people. Look, I said, when you think Big Smitty Riding, I said, you guys expect me to be like 6'4" and 350. I said, look, I'm 5x5. Okay. I said, you go on the job site if you work in construction or like I'm an operator at a chemical plant. We have this thing called job boxes, and they're like gigantically wide and they're short. I said, I'm built exactly like that, or SpongeBob SquarePants. That's what I'm built like. So, my skinny buddies riding behind me because I'm a great windbreak. They're like, man, it's like riding behind an 18-wheeler. It's awesome, So
I think it's cool because there's a lot of people don't realize the value of seats and bars. Like that's honestly my biggest issue with replacing this bike is then I got to do it all again. And I'm like, all over seat again. I can take with me if I stay in the platform.
I joke around about buying used bikes, but man, like if I see the right used bike, because I'm looking for a cheap second bike right now to have a project for the channel or something for me and my son to do. And man, I look for bikes that somebody's put some money in because you never get that money back. We both know it. When you trade it in or sell it to somebody, they're not going to pay you for the bars and all the stuff you did. So I try to find a bike that's somebody's put some money into and go, okay, now I don't have to do that, or I can sell those even at half price and recoup some loss, So
I saw a Road Glide today. I was showing it to Kid Moto. They, I want to say it was 17 grand. I already had stage one, had Reinhardt's on it, had bars on it. And I'm like, so that's somebody that had like my thought process.
Yeah. I had Reinhardt, the 4 inches on my Street Glide.
That's what I have.
I cut that was a 2011. I cut the catalytic converter out, or I didn't. A buddy of mine did, and they welded the window back in. And I put some torque cones in the headers to kind of give me a little more back pressure. That thing sounded great. The Reinhardts are awesome. I love those pipes.
Yeah, I like the fact that they had before this. I had a Suzuki Intruder, so it was really quiet. Like you didn't know it was running halftime. And
You're talking to a Honda guy saying that. That's
I didn't mean it as an insult. I just every so often I thought I ran out of fuel.
that's why I'm drinking, Brian. That's why I'm drinking, dude.
Wait, but what are you drinking? That's more important.
Whoa, hold on, not Screwball peanut butter whiskey.
There you
Stuff
go.
right here. If he probably won't watch this, but a buddy of mine at work, Matt Bros, got me hooked on this, and man, it is between him and my neighbor next door. My neighbor always jokes, "Hey, I always like to see his truck is always in the background of my videos." He's like, "My work truck is always in the background. I know my work truck's safe when I see it every week in your videos when you go riding." So
That's really good stuff. I've had it before.
I love it, man.
It's not doesn't cost an arm and a leg either, which is
and I mean, hey, I bought a Valkyrie that was 4 years old, brand new, for like, I don't know, nearly half the price. We've established I'm a cheap ass, so I mean, you know, it works out.
That's the reason I bought my bike. My bike had 15,000 miles on it, 14 and change, and I paid half retail for it.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said, I'm married with 4 kids from ages 15 to 4. So like, you know, I'm never going to retire. I'm just going to keep working. So they'll find me out in the field one day at work, just dead. He finally died. We knew he would. So, you know,
but hopefully you have that last shot of the peanut butter whiskey. That's how you want to go out.
Yeah, I hope so. That'd be a whole lot better than going out to work. Well, I don't know, man. I've always joked with my wife. I said, I don't care what happens to me. I said, if I die here, take me to the inside the gate at work and just drop me off. I said, I'm worth way more if I die there. It's a big industrial chemical plant. I'm worth way more if they find me dead there. So
pour some stuff on top of you.
Whatever it takes. So.
So I know Texas is pretty hot. Katie, my wife, is from San Antonio. And you're from Houston?
I'm from Houston. I'm from the east side of Houston. Yes.
Okay.
LaPorte, Pasadena, Deer Park, LaPorte area. That's where I'm from.
So
that's where I currently live. I was born and raised, you'll love this, in the good old town of Cut and Shoot, Texas.
Cut and Shoot. That sounds like Texas.
You don't get much more. There's another place called Gun Barrel City up going towards Dallas, but Cut and Shoot is about as Texas as you can get, Jack. So
yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So born and raised in Cut and Shoot.
What's your riding season like there?
Hot. I mean, I joke. Damn hot. Damn hot. It's one of those situations where, guys that live up north, their bikes look amazing. I've always seen, like, if you like, I still read Cycle Source magazine because I just like the garage built bikes. But like, anytime you get on the forum, all the guys that have bikes who live in the northern states, man, when they roll them suckers out in like March or April, they look immaculate. Well, our bikes, I mean, I'm not saying we keep them stocked, but we ride. There's like 2 weeks of the year you may not ride here. We had that real bad freeze in February.
That was crazy.
Well, it wreaked havoc, especially the industry I'm in, the oil and gas industry wreaked havoc. Was just ridiculous. But man, you literally ride year round. I'll ride in the cold. I have good winter riding gear. I hate riding to work because when you work at a chemical plant and you ride to a chemical plant, well, all you see is plants. It's just a boring ride. I prefer to ride. You got to get out away from Houston because Houston sucks. The traffic sucks. I love the city. It's great for jobs, but if you're in the fast lane in Houston and the speed limit's 65, let's say, if you're not doing 80, 85, you're going to die. That's what's going to happen. Be prepared. If you're on a motorcycle by yourself doing 70 in the fast lane, you're going to die. They're going to run you over, and they don't care because that's the way it is. So it is. I love Texas. I mean, I'm born and raised in Texas, but that's what me and Salty were talking about. And setzerpendence, he said, man, setzerpendence was like, I thought around the San Antonio area was bad. He said, Houston is a different monster. He said, they'll run you down and they don't stop. They don't care. I said, dude, I'm telling you, Houston traffic and drivers are terrible. So.
Yeah, that's the one downside of being in New Jersey. Luckily, I'm in lower New Jersey, lower, slower maybe. But the traffic's just a nightmare. So where what's your riding like? Do you like to do big? I mean, I know it's hard with kids, but do you like to do big rides, small rides?
And my wife is awesome. She, I used to be, and until we had baby number 4, man, every year I used to go. I've done the Tail of the Dragon. I've done pig trails up in Arkansas going around Eureka Springs are amazing. I love that area. The Three Sisters. I've done a little bit of everything. It's been a while since I've taken a long trip. But man, but that's the thing where I'm at. You can do a 300 or 400 mile day, get up in the morning, make a big loop and come back home. Cause just north of here, you've got you're in the piney woods. Man, the Sam Houston National Forest in 1725, the area kind of where I grew up outside Conroe is right there. I mean, you can go up. There's a place called Drifter's Ice House we go to in Yankees Tavern. Man, you can ride and make a little loop and go around there and do 350 miles and have a good day and be home for dinner. So
nice.
So it's there's some good riding here. You just got to get away from Houston. That I tell people all the time. I go through Houston to get somewhere else. My mom and dad live on the far west side of town, and it's really pretty riding out there. There's some really good roads out there. You just got to go, try not to die the 45 miles between my house and the outskirts of where they live to get there, and hope, because I-10 is another one of those roads that, again, you're around the Houston area, they're going to kill you. So
yeah. Well, something you brought up when we were talking the other day, and I wanted to share. Your workflow for editing, I thought was really cool. Mm-hmm. So you use just the GoPro app in your iPad, right?
I do. I think that's
cool.
I started out with my phone. I used my phone, and I used the GoPro app on the phone, and would download. You download everything to the app, from the app to your photos, and then I just went through iMovie. And then, man, I know a lot of people who spend a lot of money. Okay, if you've got 350,000 subs. Okay, you've got some money coming in. You can buy a laptop. You can do the big software, and that stuff is cool. And don't get me wrong, I'm very blessed to have a great job. I love my job. I make good money. But I wasn't going to go spend $5,000 between a laptop and cameras and other stuff. I got a free camera because I'm a cheap ass. My mother-in-law gave me a camera, and then my wife said, "Hey, I'm going to buy you an iPad Mini, the 256 gig one." And where you can have plenty of storage to put your videos and stuff. And so, man, what I do is I film on the GoPro, and I use my phone a lot when I'm doing interpersonal stuff. Like I'm filming you because we went on a ride and we're talking about stuff like this. Mm-hmm. Man, I'll sit there and use my iPhone and film with it. And then I go put it all together, do it on the iPad, do iMovie and edit it and call it a day.
That's fantastic. I think that it just becomes a time suck. I think it's funny that you have not you, but you see people that are starting out, and it's like, oh, I bought a 360 camera, and I bought this, and I bought that, and you're like, Jesus.
and I'm, like I said, I'm one of those people who will tell you, I've been thinking about a 360 camera. Sprinkles has one on her bike, and I'm excited to see some of the footage from we rode the other day. But man, I just, I'm looking at different cameras and different things, but so far, I'm happy. I don't have a Spielbergian content on my page. Okay. But for what I use, I'm pretty happy with it. And, everything I do is kind of raw anyway. Like I said, people ask me all the time, we were talking about the intros earlier. I think of them before I do them. When you and I spoke about an intro, you said something to me. I had thought about it for a little bit, said, hey, I'm gonna try this.
That's great.
And they kind of come organically. It's just something that comes to my mind. And if I laugh at it thinking, wow, I'm gonna look like a dumbass, then I know it's gold. Yeah. Because if I can make me laugh at me being a dumbass, I certainly can make someone else laugh at me being a dumbass. So,
But I think, and I'm really I'm shocked at where your channel needs to be bigger than it is as far as the viewership, because it's fantastic. I mean,
I appreciate that. I do.
Genuine content.
I've told you before, man, my original goal, and has not changed. I'm not, although people have made fun and said, hey, I've got DMs saying, hey man, I want you to know you're trying to be like Shadetree. And I said, okay, I love that guy. I think he's awesome. Josh is a great guy. I love his videos. We're not anything alike. I've got a bunch of kids, a lot of responsibility, just like he's got a lot of responsibility. But I'm me, and I am who I am. And I've told people, I said, my goal was real simple with the channel. With my videos, I said, if I can get one person, guy, girl, whoever, that says, man, if this big fat moron can ride a motorcycle, enjoy himself, and use it to de-stress and help him to forget about all the other junk that's going on, having kids and school, and I have a son that's autistic. We talked about that. If he can use that to de-stress, maybe I can too. If one person says, I want to ride, and this guy made me laugh, and I think I'm going to get a bike. I'm going to go take the course and get a small bike and learn to ride. Then I'm happy. If I've had people send me DMs saying, "Hey man, thanks for inspiring me," and I'm like, "You're showing me." Well, I did, and you know, I'm like, "Really, me? I'm like the foul mouth fat guy? Are you serious?" But then I feel like I've done what I wanted to. Like I said earlier, we talked about the autism thing. I had no intention of doing that. I really had no intention of making the autism video.
That video is fantastic.
I appreciate that. But it was a situation where my wife and I had talked about it, and we'd had like a really bad day with my son. Because my son's like Tarzan. You've heard me say it. When he gets wound up, he's just, he's on. And I was like, man, we had a rough day, and the wife and I had decided, we were just sitting there like, and my wife was kind of in tears because, you know, there's days he has where I'm like, hey man, this ain't that bad. Everything's cool. And then there's other days where I'm like, we get him in bed and we're both going, I mean, I'm brushing my teeth and going to bed. I'll get a shower in the morning. I'm exhausted. And, but man, I started thinking about how I felt that way some days. And I said, and there's somebody out there who doesn't have anybody to talk to about this. There's somebody out there that doesn't have anybody to listen to them. And I said, you know what? I told you I watched Jared Weems' video, and he had a son in his video. And I didn't know Jared Weems had an autistic son. Like, I joked around and called him Saint Weems because he has done so much nice things for so many people. And man, I saw that and I went, wow, dude, that's awesome. And I told my wife, and I showed her the video, and we were talking. I said, I think I'm gonna do an autism video. And I kind of use her as my gauge. You know, and she goes, that'd be great. And she got it and walked off. I was like, okay. And I just sat there and I tried to be as real as I could. And I got emotional because that's what I do sometimes. Yeah. We had a teacher named Amanda that I talked about at the end of the video who we didn't have any hope, bro. Like when I say there were doctors who said, oh, he's going to live with you until you die. And I was like, I mean, when they tell you that when he's 3 and you're going, you know, it just like was a kick in the gut. And man, we got to the school and the first 2 weeks, she said, oh no, I've got a little girl that reminds me so much of him that she's now the top reader in the 3rd grade. And she is doing amazingly well. And he's just like her, you're going to be fine. And we were like we went home and damn near cried. Like my wife was in tears and I'm tearing up because we had hope. And man, it meant the world to me that Amanda gave us some hope. And I started thinking, you know, if I can do that for another parent, if I can do that for somebody who's sitting there going, because there's people, man, I'm sorry, you know this, in the biker community, we very rarely talk about our feelings or whatever's going on. You know, we're just like, hey, I'm a tough guy. I've got tattoos. I'm not going to talk to you about what's going on. And I said, okay, I'm gonna put this out there. And I told my wife I could care less about views, because views, you've heard me say this to you, views don't mean shit to me. And not that my subscribers not important, but the sub numbers don't mean shit to me. I watch other people's subs more than mine. When Salty and Sprinkles were getting close to 1,000, I'm texting him going, dude, you're like 6 away, you know? And he's like, oh, and I'm going, what do you mean? Oh, bro, my numbers, they're there. I appreciate the people that sub, but I didn't do it for subs. I didn't do it for views. I did it because I thought it was important to get off my chest, but for somebody else out there. And through some of the DMs I got, I don't want to say what state, but I had like a guy that's a club member who told me I'm a club member in this state. And I've never talked to anybody about this. Me and my girlfriend, I have an autistic son. I can't talk to my club brothers about it. Hey man, thank you. I appreciate you. And I was like, dude, if you've got any questions, he said, I don't need you to answer questions. I'm just thankful that you spoke about it. So, and then I had a mom hit me up, you know, asking me questions, and me and my wife answered the questions, and she was like, you gave me hope. Thank you. And man, I was like, yeah, this is crazy. I didn't expect that. I had hoped that I'd be able to help somebody and go in any kind of way. But dude, that was that video right there. I don't care if it doesn't have but 3 views and 3 people felt good after watching it, then I'm cool with it, man. I'm good. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think that speaks to how genuine of a person you are, because it's not, yeah, you know, we all could dream that we're going to be blockhead, right? But that's not going to happen. That's just not. However,
I don't have a ruroc helmet. I can't be blockhead. I just can't do it.
What do you mean? I thought to be on YouTube, you had to have a ruroc helmet.
Oh God, now I go buy a ruroc. Thanks, Brian. You just ruined that for me.
Sorry.
I got to throw away the Nolan, go buy a ruroc.
Cool.
Damn.
No, don't throw away the Nolan ever.
I love that helmet. It's great, dude. I love that helmet.
Great helmets. But no, I think things like that are great because you never know what somebody else is going through.
Yeah.
It goes, oh yeah, I've dealt with that, or because it's hard, especially hard in a public forum, right? Because you're putting yourself out there, and it's like,
and you don't know what the trolls are going to say, because you know as well as I do, the trolls love to get on there and you know, my wife has her little saying. I've told you, don't feed the trolls. Don't feed the troll. Because I'll be sitting there, my wife's like, don't do it. It's not worth it. Don't feed the troll. Ignore them and move on. You did what you did for a reason. Ignore them. So, you know.
But I also think, though, with the trolls, sometimes if you hit a nerve, that almost means you're doing the right thing, because there's too many people that run that middle lane. You know what I mean? And
I'll be honest with you, Brian, people haven't liked me since I was in the first grade. So, I mean, I don't expect people to like me now. So it's like, okay, you know, when someone says they like me, I'm like, you sure? Like, that's what's funny. Salty's like, man, we get along great. And I went, you sure about that? You sure you want to ride with me? You sure? You know, but man, whatever. Poor guy. Sprinkles. Well, okay. So this is what's funny. Speaking of those two guys, my wife and Sprinkles said the same thing. My wife's like, wait a minute. The thing that we have told our daughter and son not to do, don't go meet strangers on the internet. You're going to go meet strangers from the internet. And I was like, I didn't think of it that way. And it was funny because we got there and Sprinkles was like, well, you know, I trust him. Salty's a good judge of character. I said, if he was a good judge of character, I wouldn't be here right now. And she started laughing, but that was one of those things, talking about them, is that I didn't know, like, I met them, folks from Texas, and there are people that have the same kind of mission like you and I've talked about, for helping people with PTSD. So, you know, I got along good with them, and like your Bogan video, that's something we talked about the other day. I didn't know who you were. And this was back in August, was that August or September that happened with Bogan? How long ago was that? It's been a while.
God, it's been almost a year.
It's been a while.
No, it was summertime of last year. About summertime of last year.
Well, what I remember was I remember when the whole thing happened with him and Harley Corporate, and I remember you doing the Bogan video, and then you doing hey, I'm going to do a mental health video, because if Bogan can talk about it, then, you know, it inspired me to talk about. I was like, that takes some balls, because I'd made a video about how I use a motorcycle as a de-stress tool. But I didn't go in the depth that you did. And I remember back then, I started following you back then. I said, damn, that guy's got some balls, because, you know, talking about that stuff and talking about mental health and being stressed and needing help. I said, it's not the most popular thing on YouTube, but dude, you know, it kind of takes every once in a while somebody step to the forefront and say, somebody's got to talk about this. And nobody's talked about it, so let's do it. So that's, like I said, I think you did a damn good job of that personally, you know, from me to you.
I mean, should I have reviewed a ruroc instead, or do you think that was still okay to do?
Probably a whole lot more popular if you did.
Damn it.
Yeah, you know.
No, I wasn't really. Now you got me thinking about how much I wasn't liked in grade school. I'm not really feeling good about myself.
Oh, hey, get used to it, Tiger. It's the story of my life. So.
No, but I think that's what pissed me off with Bogan, not with Bogan, but people missed the whole point. Is he a salesman? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Is he really good at what he does? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But when you get past that and you see that when he was doing that mental health ride with the monkey bike,
yeah,
you know, I applaud that. And I think that there needs to be, you know, you don't want to be Debbie Downer and have everything that's so serious. But I think that there's, for me at least, you know, my platform may never go beyond where it's at. But
yeah,
I think it's important that if you can have that conversation, you know what I mean? Or somebody, like you said, if somebody can text you and be like, hey, I'm going through this, then you are not alone, you know?
And again, and I prefaced before I made that autism video, I don't have my wife and kids in my video very much. Putting a picture of my son up on the video, I was leery about that, man. Because I was like, somebody says something negative about my son, I'm going to kill him. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I talked to my wife before I put the video out. I said, hey, I want you preview this because I like to run things like that by her because it's, you know, how the internet can be. And she was like, my wife's super supportive, you know, to put up with the shit she puts up with being married to me. But like I said, that video, again, the videos I've made that have been my favorite that I've done, the autism video is one of my favorite videos because I felt like it was something that needed to be said. And I did a video. I had a really good friend of mine. You might be able to say from a ridiculously horrible Hemi V8 man ring.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay. One of my best friends passed away in 2017. I did like a little 2-minute, 43-second video about him. And that video meant probably more to me, or it was more special to me, just because I'd never really talked about it. I've talked about him on the internet. I've got his picture up. It was one of the coolest cats ever. Jack Ruella, call him Jackie Boy. Man, we rode together, and he was a hard riding. He was like that biker guy. And when I first met him, he wasn't. He had ridden before. We hadn't ridden in years. And my buddy Yanati and I kind of helped. Yanati helped him get his bike. And we took some of his first rides with him. And then he just blew into this club member, you know, outlaw biker. And man, when he passed away, it was like, so we talked about Victory going under that January 10th. Okay. Same day David Bowie died. Victory goes under, and Jackie Boy has a heart attack and passes away. And so my wife was like, you know, between Victory and the whole Victory went under, and then I actually think if I'm going back to it, I think Victory went under like on a Monday, and I think he passed away on a Tuesday on the 10th. But anyway, that was like a horrible week. And but man, that video, I just made that because I wanted to talk about him, and it was right at the anniversary of his death, and I just decided to make it. And again, big old crybaby, you know, tough guy. At the end, I had no intention of. I was just going to take a shot for him, put it down, and I got emotional. I was like, my wife was filming it, and she's like, "Do you want to do that again?" I said, "No." I was like, the guy meant that much to me. If I look like if everybody wants to make fun of me and call me a big crybaby on the internet, who gives a shit? It was for my friend. It wasn't for them. So, you know, whatever. But I think those are my two favorite videos I've done, in all honesty. And I think I counted the other day, I've made like 61 or so, 62 videos, something like that. So.
Well, and I think that that's great, because I think sometimes with that, at least for me, sometimes just kind of getting it out there.
Yeah.
There were people that saw my first mental health video that were texting me like, "Dude, I didn't know any of this, and I know you."
Yeah.
Like family members. And I'm like, well, because the confession of YouTube is great. You can just say anything you want, and
you can.
Whatever. If you don't like it, you don't like it.
I mean, people are going to flame you either way. That's the way I've always looked at it. They're going to flame you for doing something that they like or doing something they don't like. So I'm like, well, I'll just do whatever I want to. I'm just going to say what I want, and we'll go from there. So,
I mean, I told you the other day when we talked, I had almost taken that Bogan video down a few times.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, there's just too much to this. It's like, I went somewhere I wasn't prepared to go, if that makes sense. And then when I started seeing the people that were like, "Oh, but I lost my friend through suicide and Bogan helped me," or, you know, and I'm like, all right, well then maybe it doesn't matter, because my true belief is nothing you can say to me is going to be worse than what I'm talking about.
No,
because my head is worse than YouTube, I assure you.
That's what I used to joke with my wife. Man, and I said this the other day, and I hated to admit to my wife. I said, "Man, for the first time in a long time, I don't dislike me." And she said, "What?" I said, I really am comfortable with where I'm at. I said, I've always used YouTube as a creative outlet because, you know, I see people all the time. My dad has worked his butt off. He's retired now. And even though now that he's retired, he still has to work and do things, because if he's not doing something working, he's just being lazy, you know. But man, I see guys that are married and have kids, and they don't do anything. They don't ride motorcycles. They don't go hunting. They don't go fishing. They don't do cars. They just go to work, come home, mow the yard. And I see them, and you can just tell them, they're just like, they don't have, like, you have to have something that kind of gets your creative juices flowing. So the YouTube thing was like, hey, this is a creative outlet for me to be able to act like an idiot, make people laugh, or film my rides. A lot of it was filming my rides, so I'd have it for later, you know, so I wouldn't forget these rides. But a good creative, I mean, motorcycles is a great outlet as it is. I could never film another ride and ride with my friends and have everything saved up here, and it'd be amazing. But having the footage of it and go, man, that is right. We did go to that burger joint that day and the food was horrible. And everybody said it was great. Or, oh man, we did do an overnighter and so-and-so got drunk and fell in the fire, you know? So it's one of those things where YouTube really, like I said, is for some of the bad shit that drives me crazy. The good stuff is I've got a lot of memories with some good people that I'm going to have from now on that I can go back and go, something happens to me, people can go, hey, there's that crazy asshole. We took a ride with him and it was awesome. So, you know.
Yeah. I think that, and you mentioned with Salty and Sprinkles, that's the one thing that I think is really funny. The motorcycle takes me out of being shy and awkward.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, you got a motorcycle? I got a motorcycle. You want to go ride? All right, let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And well, I mean, okay, so Salty and I both are extroverts, like alpha male types. And he reminds me of, I spoke about earlier, Nadi, one of my best friends. He reminds me a lot of him. And when we met, like we hit it off pretty good. And I like those two because they stand for something. They're the club they're in, the EMS Angels, they stand for something. Man, they're all about helping battle PTSD and frontline medical workers. And I think that's pretty cool, man. I mean, like I said, they were good folks. So I kind of hit it off with them. And then I haven't actually met setzerpendence face to face, but I've spoke, you know, we've DM'd each other a couple times stuff, and he's real cool. But I'll tell you what, man, we were talking about a road glide earlier. Have you ever watched Hell's on Two Wheels?
Yes, I talked to him actually. He's been on the mental health call we do on Thursday.
I am not playing when I say he's riding behind me and we're leaving the Indian dealership in the Woodlands. And I look in my mirror and I see the front end of this bike come up about 2 feet off the ground and come down. And I'm like, dude, that was pretty good control. I was like, that was awesome because everybody's taking off going fast. And we get to where we're stopping up there at the Southern Star. And he said, oh, I didn't do it on purpose. I said, what? He said, no, man. He said, I had my wheel turned a little too hard. And when I hit the throttle, he said, it just came up. And I went, he said, of course, now the standing joke is, he said, dude, he said, that was that shark nose fixing to chomp that Honda's ass. And I was like, thanks a lot, buddy. But dude, meeting them, man, they were as nice as they could be. And they rode in from Daytona. Like they'd been in Daytona and rode from Daytona out there to meet up with Salty and Sprinkles to go to that event. And I was like, you came from Daytona to come to Conroe? I was like, that's crazy. So then I think they rode out the next day. They went on the far west side of town. Those guys hung out. I had to shit to do the next day. I didn't get to go, but man, so that was kind of cool meeting other YouTubers because I joked around. I did a little interview with Salty, asking him some things. And I said, I asked this of all the YouTubers, and I go, like just you're the first one, the only one I've ever asked this to. But so that was cool, man, getting to meet other people and those guys. And that was awesome because you kind of just getting to meet different people from the community. And it kind of restored my faith in the YouTube community because I'm not going to say who, because I'm not, we're not filming an expose here. I've reached out to some people just to ask them some questions and got like some shitty answers and was like, from people that I really liked, like their videos and stuff. And I still watch their videos. It doesn't change that I still watch their videos, but I was like, wow, that's not what I expected. So meeting those guys kind of restored my faith in YouTube humanity. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think it's hard too, because the public versus the non-camera people can be very different.
Oh yeah.
But I think that's great. Now they're Salty and Sprinkles. You mentioned it off camera, but they're doing a fundraiser, right?
Yeah, June the 6th. They're actually getting funds together. They've started a nonprofit because they want to make, like I said, when you talk to them, they're really solid cats, man. They're good people. They want to make sure everything's on board and their club's the same way. But on June the 6th in the Woodlands, they're going to meet up. I think it's called the Woodlands Premium. It's a BMW Indian Triumph dealership, and then they're going to ride to the Jailhouse Saloon. But they're getting funds together to give a service dog to a frontline worker with PTSD, frontline medical worker or first responder with PTSD. And, they're trying to, if they can get enough money to do two, they're going to. But, man, I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, and their club's main goal is to help first responders with PTSD. Salty, I don't like to tell his stories, but he told a story about a guy that he was on a helicopter with when he was doing trauma that had some bad issues and had to get off the helicopter and was never the same since. So they're passionate about it. So, man, that event's coming up June 6th. I will be there. I took off and I will be going to that event. I'm actually going to be organizing the people on the east side of Houston to ride and meet there because those guys are going to be so busy trying to get things set up. I'm not going to try to meet and ride in with them. But I'll be organizing a ride for anybody in the Houston or anybody if you're in the Texas area, you want to meet up, I'm gonna post it on Facebook, but I always post my stuff for YouTube, usually on Instagram and stuff like that. So I'm gonna post that up as we get closer. I think I made a post about that day on Instagram. I'm just gonna keep every couple of weeks. I'm gonna rehash it until we get close to the event, and I'll probably just hit it every day just to give people the what's up on that. So,
well, I mean, not only going to put all the links to your social, but if you want, we can put a link to that too.
Yeah, cool. He's got
your first meet and greet. By then, you'll be famous.
Sure, I will.
First person that sends me a selfie. That's what I want to see.
I'm like, yeah. The first time if somebody sends you a selfie with me, you're gonna be like, wow, man, somebody that they went to the bottom of the barrel. They couldn't find a good YouTuber, but they found Smitty. That's amazing, So
he was so accessible.
Well, we're talking about that, but June 19th. So again, Salty and Setzerpendence come up with this idea. Let's do a Texas motovlogger meetup. And I was like, well, they did a live stream the other day about it. So on June 19th, I think we're going to be meeting up in Cedar Park. My wife's like, I'm not going to ride on the back of your Valkyrie all the way to Cedar Park. I said, okay. She goes, but I'll drive the chase vehicle. I'm like, awesome. Packing all the tools and everything we need. I'm cool. So it sounds like we're going to do that on June 19th. So I'm excited because man, seriously, there was people chiming in this live stream. And I was like, man, I'm not following him. I'm not following her. And I was like, I didn't even know that. Who is that guy? There was all of these people that I was like, I mean, I knew of like 4 of them. And I'm like, there was like 30 people in the chat. And I was like, that's like 26 people. I don't know who you are. I'm like, ooh, you're in Texas? So it was kind of cool, man, to see that. So I'm kind of excited about that event. I'm looking forward to meeting other motovloggers from the area. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the one thing I really haven't met too many. I'm hoping that's one of my goals this year is to get out and try and meet more people.
Yeah. Again, man, like I said, the whole thing with meeting Salty and Sprinkles just happened by chance. I think he commented on one-on-one videos and then kept commenting. And then we started following each other on Instagram.
I don't think he might be stalking you though.
What? No, the bad part is that we both laughed about that because I swear it's no lie. Everybody, we're all so careful about because you're like, I'm gonna follow this guy. Let's see how And then the first time somebody sends you a message, you're like, I don't even know that I'm gonna answer this because this guy's gonna try to he's gonna be wearing my face at his grandma's house in the basement, And
he's trying to feed his family that's stuck.
Yeah, I know. But man, when I met Salty, we just kind of hit it off. He's a good ass dude. I like the guy a lot. And their club, they stand for something, and I like that. They're good people. They really want to help others. So, but it was funny because, it's like, okay, so I'll laugh. It's the same thing with you. So how you'll DM somebody from YouTube, like on Instagram, because that's safe. And when you sent me your phone number, I'm like, all right, cool. I can save my phone number. Because it's like, I'm not sending you my phone number first. You send me your phone. It's like, hang up. I know. I'm not hanging up. You hang up, And I was like, no way I'm giving that cat my phone number. But so it was funny because with Salty, I was going to rob him. So I sent him my phone number. And I was like, I'm going to send my phone number. And he's going to go, hey, man, can't ride tomorrow. I was like, and then his wife's like, no, he's crazy. You can't do that. So, but.
I think that's awesome because it's really nice when you have people to ride with. For sure.
Man. And I have a lot of people that are non-YouTubers I ride with that, that I went riding with a buddy of mine today, George. I've been in a bunch of videos. That's just a great guy. Laid back.
Had the bikes that you stole babysitting.
Oh man, dude. He's got his Road King. That's custom is amazing. And then I rode his Kawasaki Ninja 1000 in a video.
I love that video.
Dude, I was like, you could see the front end go zzz, zzz, and I'm like, because I'm sorry, I've got a cruiser throttle hand. I haven't ridden a sport bike in years. And it was like, every time I turn around, the front wheels trying to look at the sky, and I'm like, oh, no. And George, he's so meticulous with his bikes that I'm serious. When we rode today, I'm not kidding you. We got home early because, man, it was like 40-mile-an-hour winds here and the weather got crappy. Seriously, I'm not making this up. I bet he spent 2 hours in the garage cleaning that bike. You can take your finger and do it under the fender well and go and lick your finger and you don't taste dirt. You might taste soap because he takes care of his trucks are that way. His house is that way. Everything is just meticulously well maintained. So He's a good dude. I like riding with him. But it's awesome meeting other YouTubers because, like, you know, when you're behind somebody and you see them doing their hands like this, they're doing this, and you know what they're doing while they're riding, and you're like, oh, that's what I look like. Because, you know, I'll be out there with my cruise on doing this and talking and do because I like you've seen through this whole thing, I use my hands a lot. But when you're behind somebody, you see them using their hands, and you're like, okay, so that's what I look like from behind. Note to self, need to tone that down a bit. Don't do that as much. So
I found out that if you blast Megan Trainor out of your speakers, you get really weird looks.
Hey man, you laugh. What's her name? Oh my gosh. I was blasting Katy Perry out of my victory like cross country one time. There was like a car full of like teenage girls, and I got off and started dancing. Dude, they had phones out somewhere before I ever came on YouTube. Somewhere there are girls saying, look at this big fat dirty biker dancing to, you know, I did it as a joke, but I have a buddy, Ted, that I ride with, that we went to Alabama, and another one of our buddies, he had like loud jazz playing from his bike. Well, I started dancing, and this older lady comes up and is laughing, starts dancing. Well, I danced with her, and we're in Alabama at a gas station. I'm dancing with this 80-year-old grandmother, and she finally slapped me on the shoulder and said, "Thank you for dancing with me, baby." And she walks inside. And my buddies are shaking their heads going, dude, you're an idiot. And so a few minutes later, like, the girl in her mid-30s maybe comes out and puts her in the car, and I wave at her, and she walks over and gives me a hug and says, "Thank you for dancing with my grandmother. You made her day." She was talking about how that big, my head was shaved at times because that big bald-headed man danced with her for 5 minutes in the parking lot, just made her feel like she was 20 years old again. It was hilarious. That's just me. I'm so full of shit, it hurts, Brian. I just do whatever comes to mind, I do.
That's awesome. That's anyway. The whole filming thing is definitely weird.
Yeah.
I was filming in the driveway the other day, and my neighbor comes over. He's like, "What, are you making a YouTube video?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I didn't know you were on YouTube." I was like, "Well, I'm not just out here talking to myself." Well, you better hold it.
No, it's funny because I'll have the little, I have my camera in the middle, you know, that little ring light, and I'll be standing out there, and I'm trying to get, I got the little sticker wall behind me, and I'm trying to get it framed right, and it never fails. I'll be in the middle of going, "Look, I don't like this bike because of that," and like, well, I just walk up, "Oh, what's up, man? Hey, what's going on, dude? Oh, you filming? Yeah, I'll come back." "No, man, you can." Or my son will open the garage door, and he'll stand behind the light going, "Can I help you, buddy?" And he's like, "Well, no, just everything cool." Yeah. I didn't want to do this in 10 takes, but I guess I'm going to, you know, so.
I get distracted really easy when I'm outside. So something will happen and I'll be like, "What's that? Oh, wait, I'm filming."
Oh, I have to write down, like when I talk about a bike, I have a little, one of those dry erase boards, and I'll put it off camera over here with motor size, dual disc front brakes, you know, dual system, whatever it might be, you know what I mean? And man, because I just, like you've seen through this whole experience, I start talking about something and I go down a rabbit hole. Okay. And then I have to look up and I literally like have outtakes of me going, I don't think I should have checked those off. Cause I don't know. I'll sit there and had to stop and then go back, and I'll sit there, be watching it going, "Oh crap. I'm about to put it back up and do it again." You know,
Kate makes fun of me because I'll be talking about something and I'll just start like, it may or may not be factual, but you know, it's YouTube.
But it sounded good in your head. And that's what.
Yeah, I mean, it's got an engine, got parts.
Genius in my own mind.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you don't fact check it, this video is 100% true.
If someone started fact checking some of my bike reviews and my thoughts of them, you know what? Edit that out. Somebody will do it, and I'll have comments like this going, "Dude, you're totally full of shit. You don't know anything about bikes, mister."
But maybe that could be your thing.
Maybe it could be. I'm really good at intros and really bad at facts. That's all I've got.
You get sponsored by Screwball Whiskey and you have a couple glasses and you just make stuff up.
Yeah. That's kind of what my life's about. You just really, you really just, that's a synopsis for how my life goes. That's
my belief is if I believe it that way, true, you know.
Whatever. It's funny because I start before the Screwball, I was drinking Crown all the time. And I have that, man, I don't know about you, but I have this one guy that follows me for whatever reason, he likes me, which my wife still thinks it's funny that people like me. But This guy, his name's Craig Rupert. He's got his own YouTube channel. It's one of those YouTube names. It's C Rupert 1256, you know, one of those long ones. And man, every video, if you go back, I challenge you to go to every video I've ever made. Okay. I don't expect you to, but there'll be a comment this long. And this man comments every video. And like, we've become friends. Like I gave him my email address. He emails me for whatever. This guy likes me. And I ride a Valkyrie, and so does he. But like the other day, he's like, well, hey man, I hope you have a great day. It's my birthday. Gonna go ride with some of my buddies. And I'm like, he's just the nicest guy. Like now, it's funny because I make fun of everything. I make fun of Honda. I make fun of Valkyries. I always make jokes. And so I can tell when I do some Honda hate or some Valkyrie hate that it bothers him. But dude, beyond that, he's the nicest guy. And like, it's funny because my wife, because you always leave him a long reply. And I go, because he left me this great big comment. I just wanted to know that his time was important to me because he took the time to like say all these nice things. I need to, I don't want him thinking, hey, thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. You know, I try to be a little more engaging, you know what I mean? But
well, and I think that's the whole true thing of social media, right?
Yeah.
You know, if somebody took the time to leave a comment, the least you could do is comment back.
Well, you know, that's the whole YouTube journey. When I started out, you know, I talked about getting the camera stuff, but man, there's a guy that has a channel. His name's Texan-Picker. And I've talked about him a couple of videos before. I worked with him at an oil refinery, and then I went to a chemical plant, and he went to a different oil refinery. And man, he started posting on Facebook one day that he was these trash picking videos, and that's what he started doing. And he's been kind of like my YouTube mentor. He's the one that would like, I mean, I'd put a video out and my text would bzz, bzz, and look, you know, what? And he's like, dude, thumbnail sucks. Okay. Hey, try this. And he would send me like what the thumbnail needs to look like. Or he would go, hey man, hey, I get a text. Love you, bro. Really do. You talked about the same thing 4 times. Your video was 14 minutes. It could have been 8. And I'm like, okay. I mean, but man, seriously, the big Smitty riding intro with the motorcycle going fast and stuff, the music, man, he did that for me. I didn't do that. The outro, I have the one I changed to Paul M, who you've seen probably through every motovlogging live stream. If you see Paul M pop up, Paul M did my outro for me.
That's awesome.
I used to use the same for the intro and the outro, but Paul M did that for me. He sent me an email. Hey, do you mind if I mess with one of your? No, I don't mind at all. I mean, and he sent me a deal. Hey, you can download it from this link. This is a safe link site, so you're not just downloading it from me. So you don't think I'm some crazy guy trying to give you a virus in the computer. Oh, okay. And so, I mean, dude, I've been really fortunate with people who've helped me. Like I said, Texan-Picker, I was sitting there thinking about it. Man, I didn't mention his name, but man, that guy, his channel, he really helped me get into YouTube, and he taught me a lot. Now, I don't get as many text messages from him now. I think that's how I know I'm doing a little better, because when I don't get those text messages going, bro, that was horrible. Because there was times, man, where I was like, I would do something, and he would
post me.
No, dude, he would send me a text going, you got to redo that, man. You got to edit that. And I'm like, but the video's been out for 2 days. Doesn't matter. You're not going to get any views that way. Let me try something. He made me several, like, I'm stuck at thumbnails. I'm just not good at thumbnails.
Same one.
He made me a thumbnail, sent it to me, try that. And I put it on. And where I had like, let's say 50 views in 4 days, the next day I had an additional 50 views because of that thumbnail. And I mean, he was like, see, it works. So there's been times where I'll send him my thumbnail and preview and go, hey, is this okay? And he'll be like, yeah, that's cool. Or no, man, try again. But he's, man, just a big, big influence. So I wanted to make sure I threw him out there while we were talking, because that dude right there, if it weren't for him, there wouldn't be a big Smitty ride. Being honest, I would have given up and not done it. He's the one that said, hey, man, you're doing fine. Just keep going. Just try it. He would always give me ideas. And, you know, I'm making him sound like a jerk, but dude, he really gave me good positive feedback and cared. So, you know, it was important to me, you know.
I think that's hard though, right? Because as a creator, you want to think you're doing good things, but then there's always that moment where, to me, it's more insulting if somebody goes, oh, it's fine. What does that mean?
Yeah. Well, no, my wife and daughter are blatantly honest with me. But with him, we had worked together and we had the kind of relationship where, I mean, we made fun of each other for like 7 years, worked together, just giving you. That's what operators in control room. There's nothing going on. Sit there and look at you and go, make fun of him about today. So, I mean, I was used to, the way he talked to me, but man, he really been helpful. And when I started watching his channel, I was like, man, he does like marathon videos. I think he's got 32,000 subscribers but he'll have like a 28, 30-minute video of trash picking that you wouldn't. And man, he's got like 40,000 views on it. I'm like, dude, I mean, he's engaged with with the people that are watching, and his intros and outros are badass. And he listens to what people tell him. So, man, that guy helped me out a lot, man. I'm really, when I was talking about it earlier, I thought, man, I didn't think about Texan Picker. I needed to say something about that guy because he really did help me learn how to navigate this whole thing,
That's awesome. And that's what the community should be about, because there's all this like ridiculous amount of competition. And to me, it's just fun. If I give up on YouTube tomorrow, I'm okay with that.
The only person I'm in competition with is me. And the competition I'm in with is just to try to do a little better each time and, maybe be a little funnier. And that's about it. I'm not in competition with anybody. I've always said, I've joked around, Jay from Freebird's Garage. Man, I like him. And we've talked, and one of his little sayings he has is, hey man, small channels helping small channels. So if I ever throw his name out, he throws mine out. And I'm one of those people, if I throw your name out, I don't do it because I want you to throw my name out. I don't care if you ever do. If I threw your name out, it's because I liked your channel, I liked your content, and I wanted somebody else to see it, to see if they enjoyed it as much as I did. I'm not one of those guys that sits around going, well, I put this out about him, a week ago and I haven't heard anything. I don't care. I don't worry about that. But Jay's one of those guys that, man, and it's funny because he's in Michigan. We're nowhere near each other. But, man, he sent me several messages. Hey, like the video. Hey, man, keep doing what you're doing. And he's like one of those guys that's really encouraging. So he's another one that I will send stuff back and forth to. Hey, man, good video. Appreciate, dig the video. So I just think it's funny because the community, for as many dicks as there are, you've got some really good people out there that, guys and girls who want to help other people and just see them grow and don't care what anybody thinks. And that's, I mean, you've talked to me several times, I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm pretty happy being me, and so on and so forth. So
I think genuine's a good thing. So before we wrap this up, I'm going to put you on the spot because I know you said it's hard. If you had to pick one, I know it's like picking your favorite child, but you had to pick one intro that is your all-time favorite. Because the ones that stick out to me are the Harley one, which is every day I ride a Harley. That's how I feel. I got to put on my Harley face and not pretend I'm the AV nerd.
Man,
the one where you're reading the manual and the one where you're replying to the haters, the keyboard warriors, is great.
Man, yeah, you're putting me on the spot. I think I probably like ones that other people don't like. I like the banter with my wife just because I like to make myself look like a fool and my wife looks smart. The one about the tires, when I said we're going to talk about rubber, and I said, well, tires. She said, well, if you knew more about rubber, we wouldn't have so many kids. I was like, I finally got you. My turn to really hit you. I really enjoyed that one. The ones where honestly, I know it's not as funny, but I did the deal where I ran and jumped on the bike, and edited. And I did the one where my son, where I fell, we were going to do it. But the one I did when I act like I was going to run and jump and got in the car and was sitting there going, what? I finally got the editing, the time down just right. So when I did my hands out, when my hands came down, they were on the steering wheel. For whatever reason, I laughed at that harder than I should have. I was like, I just thought it was funny. Probably that one, the one with the tire. Man, as dumb as it sounds, I always break stuff. I'm a bolt breaker. Be the first one to tell you. Easy Out should sponsor me. As many bolts as I've had to jot over the years, Easy Out should sponsor me. Dude, the one where I was standing at the garage saying, dear motorcycle gods in heaven, Honda be thy name. That one right there, for whatever reason, the jumping in, landing the car, and that one are probably my top two that I like them. Now I know everybody has different opinions. People tell me, no, man, this one's funnier. But those two right there, I'll watch those now and still smile because I'm like, I don't even know where my head was when I made this, but man, this was pretty good. So
I think it's good too because there's so many of these videos that are out that are so polished for installs.
Yeah.
And I took the whole fairing off my bike to realize I didn't have to. I was like, well, that was good to know.
Thanks a lot.
Filmed it wrong the first time, filmed it again, then realized after I filmed it and started putting the lights in that I didn't need to do it. I'm like, well, at least I learned a lesson.
Yeah.
I learned how to do something I didn't know.
I just, like I said, I figure if you start my videos out laughing at me, everything goes downhill from there. So if I can get you on a high ride here, then maybe I can keep you for a few minutes. And after that, who knows where this shit show's going to land. So, you know.
That's awesome. So before, I guess, as we're wrapping up, people certainly need to go watch your channel and subscribe and ding the bell or whatever we're doing. Hit the thumbs up. What do you have anything else you want to talk about? Anything else you want to plug? So you're on Instagram. I know you're
Instagram,
on TikTok,
and I
right?
started a TikTok.
The Thinkity Talk.
Man, my buddy Zach said, "Dude, start a TikTok. Throw your intros on there." I'm like, "No, I'm not doing that." And he pestered me for like a month, and he said, "Dude, I'm serious. It's easy to do. Even you can do it." So I went to my 15-year-old, and she's like, "Hey, I'll help you." And I just put a few intros on there, and I've had a lot of people laughing and saying it's funny. And so, yeah, I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. My Facebook page is more of like a personal page and stuff. I do from time to time. I've friended other motovloggers and stuff on there. But I mainly do most of my YouTube stuff through Instagram and TikTok. And I'm easy to get a hold of, like I said, through Instagram. If you send me a DM on Instagram, I'll do my best to respond. I'm a shift worker, so like I feel bad. Sometimes I'll post a video when I get home in the morning, but I sleep for 6-7 hours. And then I won't reply to comments. Now people get DMs. "Hey man, did you see my comment? You're not mad, are you?" And I'm like, "No, man, I'm sorry. I've been asleep. You know, I work days and nights. I work crazy shift work. So, you know, I'll download a video at 5 o'clock in the morning when I get home, and I won't see comments till 1 o'clock in the afternoon when I finally wake up." So, but, you know, yeah, I mean, like I said, I really appreciate you and what you do, man. The mental health, the awareness you bring to it. I like your videos, man. I like your stuff. And you know, I laugh because I made the joke with Salty. I said, "Dude, there's going to be 12 minutes of usable video Bry's going to have." I said, "Because I have such a filthy mouth."
No, you did good.
Dude, I did. I'm telling you right now. And I'm proud of myself. I did not drop one F-bomb this whole time. And you're going to laugh. And I don't have it. My cup got it wet where I'm sitting my cup of screwball down. It says, "Don't drop F-bombs." I looked right here at a piece of paper at the desk. I wrote, every once in a while I'd go, "Okay, I can talk about this event on June the 6th. Okay, above it, don't drop F-bombs." So I was like, my wife said, "You're going to do it." And I was like, "Yeah, I probably will."
So what we'll do is we'll stop recording and you can get them all out.
Mm-hmm. Mother, what the? Well, your wife's gonna walk in the room like the door's going. She's gonna go, "Are you okay?" "It's okay. Let Smitty get it out. He's just getting it out."
Texas,
okay.
She understands.
Yeah. Well, bro, there you go. Hey, y'all, you know.
I'll tell you what. There's nothing like that Texas draw on the first date. She's like, "Brian, done. Where's the ring? Just put it on her."
I love you.
That's the joke in my house. She loves me stupid shit tons. But I think that's a lot. Apparently,
my wife and I are both from Texas, and I can tell you right now, Texas women are something else. They are amazing. I'll say that.
That's
Texas
what Hank
women
said, right?
Texas women will keep you on your toes, my friend.
Sir.
Texas, they don't put up with no shit.
No, they don't.
Note to self.
That's the mental health note today.
Exactly. Mental health note is do not piss a Texas woman off.
Nope. Don't do it.
Don't do it. It's not a good idea. Wouldn't do it. Wouldn't be prudent. Wouldn't do it. So.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate your time, and I can't tell you how much I enjoyed that intro.
Hey, dude, thank you for letting me do that, man. No, I don't think nobody else is insane enough to let me do that. There's nobody else who would say, "Hey, do an intro for the." When you said that, I went, "Really, bro? Bro, you really?" My wife was going, "Babe." I said, "Yeah. Here's what we're gonna do," and she laughed. When she laughed, I said, "Okay, we're good." Because that's what I was. When she laughed, she said, "That's a great idea. I think he would enjoy that." And then when you said that you and your wife are laughing about it, she goes, "Hey, you did good." So I was like, "Hey, I finally got one that it'll work." So
I just people need to leave a comment about that intro of that, because I can't imagine.
Well,
People are gonna hit play and be like, "What just happened?"
What's gonna be funny is that it's your video for your video podcast, and they're gonna see me and they're gonna go, "I clicked on the wrong channel. This is Bry the Biker. Who? Somebody stole Bry's shit. What happened? Who is that?
I've been hacked."
Hey, who's the fat guy sitting there yelling about pods and casts, man?" So.
Well, you need to subscribe to Big Smitty Riding for sure. Check out his TikTok, subscribe to his YouTube. That's definitely the support he needs. And follow him on Instagram. And again, Smitty, I really appreciate your time, sir.
Hey, man, I appreciate you for having me, Bry. Thanks, buddy. I really do appreciate it, man.
Anytime.